Welcome back to AgweekTV. It's the time of year to think about crop nutrition, and joining us now is Curt Woolfolk. He's the senior agronomist with the Mosaic Company. What trends are we seeing in crop nutrition this spring?
So there's 17 essential elements that crops need, and so it's very important to look beyond those macronutrients like N, P, and K, and really start looking at the 8 micronutrients and how those play a part in proper crop nutrition. So when we look at those balances between a macronutrient, secondary macronutrient, and then the micronutrients, it's important to understand that each crop has an uptake and a removal pattern, and just kind of understand those and what fertilizer we need to apply to our soil to meet the crop needs.
So what is MicroEssentials and how is it different from other fertilizers?
Yeah, MicroEssentials is a premium phosphate product. It's a dry granular product. We have a sample here of the MicroEssentials SZ, that's the sulfur and the zinc. The main difference with a MicroEssentials type product is you have a homogeneous granule where the nitrogen, the sulfur, the phosphor, and in this case the zinc is all in one granule. That becomes very important when you compare that against a traditional blend. Often, as growers, we use a MAP, a monoammonium phosphate, 1152O. We'll typically put in an ammonium sulfate or maybe even a zinc sulfate in that blend. As we go apply that product, if we're using an air seeder or an air drill, often we don't get really good uniform nutrient distribution. So by having all 4 nutrients in one granule, you get very good uniformity of nutrient application, and that gives a lot more access for different root systems of different crops to take up that nutrient, especially when it comes to micronutrients.
So what crops is this used on?
There's a multitude of crops that can be used. There's 3 formulations because we do tailor some of the formulations a little bit by geography. So MicroEssentials S15 is very common for the Canadian provinces as we look at more canola and flax type crops, a little bit higher on the sulfur. As we get more into Montana, the Dakotas, and Minnesota, we're often looking at more corn, soybean rotation, so we're looking at the MicroEssentials SZ product.
What key nutrients are needed to ensure the growth of a healthy soybean crop?
The growers that do apply fertilizer to beans often think about potassium first. K is front and center for that soybean grower. The research at Mosaic that we've conducted recently has really shown a light on the fact that soybean responds well to sulfur and even some of the micronutrients like boron.
Very important. Where can we learn more about MicroEssentials?
We have several great resources at the Mosaic Company. We have MicroEssentials.com. We also have a great resource, CropNutrition.com. So if you ever have a desire or a need to learn more about what does sulfur do within a soybean plant, what does the potassium do for the corn crop, go to CropNutrition.com and find a wealth of resources available there.
Great information today. Thank you for being with us, Curt Woolfolk, the senior agronomist of the Mosaic Company.